Coming up on ATV News.
I don't like the fact that I can't know if I have the coronavirus and that I have to sit here.
We'll show you why some people don't know if they have the coronavirus.
It's heartbreaking. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it's very sad.
Utah State canceled commencement for the first time ever, but graduates might be walking after all.
Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize.
We'll show you how some local restaurants are surviving the outbreak.
I'll show you how some people are getting their sports fix during the pandemic.
I'll show you hail. You've seen rain and snow. I'll tell you what's coming next in weather.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Charlie 2 responding on a male in his 20s who believes he has the virus.
North Logan paramedics responded to a call from a man who said he had symptoms of coronavirus. They took him to the hospital. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Lisa Feinstein.
And I'm Eric Price.
We're far apart due to social distancing. Cache County now has 4 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Medical experts say to call ahead if you have symptoms and to not show up without notice to minimize the spread. Johns Hopkins University says over 100,000 people around the world have recovered from the novel coronavirus. Reported global cases are now over 450,000. Centers for Disease Control reports over 50,000 cases in the United States and 737 deaths.
The CDC says people who have symptoms of COVID-19 should stay home and quarantine themselves. ATV's Shay Densley is one of them, except he doesn't know if he has the virus.
On March 18th, I began developing coronavirus symptoms, and my wife and I decided to quarantine ourselves.
I don't like the fact that I can't know if I have the coronavirus and that I have to sit here.
To make sure that those that need a test the most get one, the CDC created guidelines on who to test first. A person may qualify for a test if they have been hospitalized with COVID-19 symptoms, if they are older or have underlying conditions, or if they have had close contact with the person confirmed with COVID-19.
With all the symptoms that I had, telling the doctor that I was having chest pain and a dry cough, headache, and fever, he was saying that I really checked off all the boxes on what seemed like was a coronavirus. My symptoms were mild, I hadn't been anywhere except Salt Lake, didn't know of anyone that had the coronavirus, and I'm pretty healthy. So I don't check off any of the boxes and I can't get tested.
The Utah Department of Health reports 5,823 people have been tested for the coronavirus, with 298 people having tested positive. Utah's first coronavirus-related death was on March 22nd. People are trying to social distance themselves as best they can as COVID-19 cases rise throughout the state.
Trying to find ways to keep ourselves busy in this tiny apartment. So we have been doing crafts and projects and stuff, like we did resin on our TV trays, and we just moved our mattress into the living room to kind of just make things feel different in here, since we've been stuck in here for almost a week.
The CDC says you can stop isolating if you have had no fever for at least 72 hours, other symptoms have improved, and at least 7 days have passed since symptoms first appeared. Shay Densley, ATV News.
To learn if you should start or stop isolating, you can click the CDC's link on our Facebook page.
Here on the quad is where USU's commencement ceremony was supposed to start at the end of April. USU officials postponed it until the end of August due to the risk of coronavirus. I put a question on my Instagram story asking graduates how they felt about the cancellation, and I got about 30 responses.
I've overcome some pretty big mental obstacles to get to this point, and it does suck to not get the kind of closure and the recognition I feel like I deserve and I earned.
It was really disappointing and heartbreaking.
This is the first time Utah State has canceled commencement, according to USU archivists. Graduates say it's a tradition they deserve.
I've been literally looking forward to graduation for ever.
But I feel more bad for my parents, I think, and like my family members, because that's more of a thing for them, I think. They have been waiting for this moment for my entire life.
I want that walk from Old Main all the way to the Spectrum. I want that.
Although graduates have to wait longer than expected to take that walk on this campus, they know USU is trying.
To have it kind of stripped away by a power that's like out of our control is defeating.
But I also know that it's not the university's fault. I just hope they can keep it as traditional as they would have if this weren't a problem.
USU announced they will hold an in-person ceremony August 28th and 29th if circumstances allow. Reporting from the Old Main Steps, Lisa Feinstein, ATV News.
A local neighborhood is coming together to lift each other up with laundry supplies. Pins, a clothesline, and positive messages. One Logan resident gives back to the community in these times of crisis.
One day we'll probably look back on this and only be able to remember the positive, I hope.
Residents gather around the clothesline admiring the kind messages. Are you missing dining in a restaurant? I looked into why restaurants are closing their doors but opening their phone lines. Due to the recent coronavirus outbreak, this coffee shop manager is taking all precautions.
Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize.
Sanitizing is one of many things she's had to implement recently.
Having to lay off employees is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It doesn't make me feel good at all. It just makes me very sad. Sad for them, sad for me. We had some great workers. I'm hoping that when this comes to an end, we'll be able to get some of them back.
To keep customers from dining in,
We've just had to tape off all of the areas where people can sit.
to reinforce the practice of social distancing, restaurants have resorted to drive-through, curbside pickup, and takeout only. This pizzeria hasn't let the virus slow them down.
The first day, we had so many people coming in and ordering takeout and then telling us that they were here because they wanted to support us, they wanted to support the local community, they wanted to support local businesses.
The kitchen is full, but the dining room is empty.
It is quiet. I mean, we go through periods of time outside of the lunch and dinner rushes where, other than the music, you could kind of hear a pin drop.
A server at Olive Garden is jobless due to the virus outbreak.
I understood why, and I still do understand why it needs to be this way, but it's scary.
Starting his car after grabbing his last paycheck, Geddes is concerned about the future.
It's very frightening to know that my savings might not last forever.
Mark Ensign says Jack's Pizza is offering a 10% discount when you purchase a takeout order.
I don't know about you, but I have been ordering way too much takeout because of quarantine.
Same here, DoorDash has really come in handy. Coming up.
If it goes on for an extended period of time, it'll start to feel kind of like the recent strike we had.
Why GM employees say they are worried again.
We'll show you how dining services respond to the spread of COVID-19. After the break, Adam Larson will have weather. The current temperature in Logan is 45 degrees.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
its way to Logan earlier this week, coming down hard in the valley. The National Weather Service is issuing a winter storm warning for the northeastern part of Utah, expecting heavy snow to come down in the mountains today and tomorrow. About 6 to 12 inches is going to pile up in the Wasatch Mountains, but little to nothing is expected to stick here in the valley. Welcome to ATV Weather. I'm Adam Larson. Taking a look here at the national pressure map, you can see we've got this low pressure system scooting down into this northern part of Utah. You've got all this white area right here. All of that is snow. All this blue up above, that's all rain. But you can see we're getting hit with a lot of snow right here in that northern part of Utah. That low pressure system is really what's bringing in all of that snow. Let's take a look at the rain map for this. You can see right here as well. This is Utah. All this dark blue, all snow. That is our snowstorm coming in. It's going to be a pretty big one. As you can see, 6 to 12 inches in the mountains. That's a lot. And then all of that blue is a mixture of snow and rain, so it's getting hit mostly over Utah, some of Nevada, and into Wyoming and Colorado, and the South Dakota also getting hit pretty hard. Let's take a look at those rain totals. You can see here on our map a lot of Utah right in here. We're expected to get between 1/4 of an inch and an inch of rain here in Utah. But if you take a look at a lot of these eastern states up here in Wisconsin, Michigan area, these blue areas, upwards of 2 inches of rain and snow. And then right off the east coast over here, they're up well above that, 2 to 3 to 4 inches of snow expected. And that storm is going to be hitting a lot of this area in Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, all of that area. Let's take a look at the national temperature forecast. You see here, right down here in the south, we're getting a lot of heat down there right now. It's pretty warm up there. But even as you go higher, it's getting a lot colder up in the northern states up here and over into Utah and Idaho, Montana, that area. We're getting hit from that low pressure zone, all of that snowstorm coming down. It's going to be pretty cold. Let's take a look at our national radar right now. Not a lot going on that national radar here, but you can see this storm a little bit above Utah right now. And then you've got some in South Dakota coming over here. Same as well down in the Gulf near Texas. That storm is all coming up, pushing up this direction. And then the storm over on the east coast as well, right here. It's pushing into Pennsylvania, into Maryland, into Virginia right now, going up the coast, possibly going to go up into New York sometime this weekend. But they're getting hit pretty hard right there, as well as us here over in Utah. Let's take a look at our state temperatures. You can see here, 39 degrees in Logan right now, 44 in Salt Lake. Those are expected to go down coming through this weekend because of that low pressure zone coming with the forecast. Let's take a look at that state radar. You can see here our storm coming in. It's getting pushed up into the northern part of the state right now, up and east a little bit. Hitting a lot of Salt Lake right now, hitting Brigham City, Logan, Ogden, all that area. The rest down south, pretty clear. You guys are fine down there. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast now. You can see here, we've got Wednesday, 60% chance of rain Wednesday and Thursday, 45-degree high today, 42 tomorrow. We're going to get a lot of snow expected today and tomorrow. And then Friday, it actually cools down a little bit there as well. 43-degree high, 29 low. You got the 29 or 24 on Thursday. It's going to be pretty chilly that day. But Friday clears up. It's going to be a sunny day. But then back Saturday and Sunday, we've got some snow coming in, 20% chance on Saturday, and you've got the, it's going to be about a 20% chance on Sunday as well, but temperatures start to warm back up Saturday and Sunday, 44, 48, and then come Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be partly cloudy, but you've got temperatures of 53 and 57 degrees both of those days, so it's going to be warming up back to above normal temperatures. These next few days, we're going to be a little bit lower. It's normally about 53 degrees. But coming through next week, we're going to be a little bit warmer than normal, so that'll be nice. Back to you at the desk.
Walmart is making changes to help the U.S. government during the global pandemic. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon addressed the U.S. alongside President Trump during the declaration of national emergency. McMillon says Walmart plans to convert sections of Walmart parking lots into COVID-19 testing areas to help healthcare workers and first responders. So far, there are 2 locations in the Chicago area that are testing for the coronavirus and expect to affect this change nationally. Managers say Walmart is cutting store hours from 24 hours to 7 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. Managers say the change helps with store cleanliness and gives time to stock items properly. Managers say Walmart plans on hiring more than 150,000 employees and are giving bonuses to current employees for their hard work. Employees say they are grateful for the job security they have and are thankful for the effort Walmart puts toward the American people.
I feel like that helps bring the American people more comfort knowing, okay, these massive grocery stores and ways to get medicine are available and they're going to stay open through this. And they're going to take extra precautions.
Managers say if people are worried about entering the store, there is pickup at most superstore locations and delivery at select superstores. Managers say employee health is very important and any who do not feel well or do not feel comfortable going into work are encouraged to stay home with a new COVID-19 emergency leave policy.
Could ventilators affect the amount of time your car spends in the shop? General Motors announced a temporary shutdown of production. 3 days later, GM and Ventec Life Systems said they'll be working together to build ventilators. If the stoppage goes on for a long time, it could have similar effects as the employee strike last fall, says a local GM employee.
We'll have problems getting parts if it goes on for a long time. Right now we're stocked well, we're still receiving our parts on time. GM is doing everything in their power to make sure that we don't hamper our ability to repair our customers' cars.
Murdoch GM in Logan says they'll be staying open despite the coronavirus outbreak and will be following the CDC's guidelines.
With classes moving online and students leaving for home, the hub is looking more empty than usual. But USU Dining Services says it's still important to stay open for both students living on campus and employees. Employees say they've heard rumors that the hub may be closing and say it's caused worry about job security. Dining Services says there are no such plans and wants their employees to know they'll have a steady income for the weeks to come. Workers say they have been cleaning commonly used items, wiping down counters, and wearing plastic gloves more often in efforts to prevent disease spreading. Dining Services Director Alan Anderson says everything has been running smoothly and reminds people to stay calm in this stressful time.
Everybody breathe, it's okay. Just do what we do and do it well, and extra emphasis on the cleanliness and sanitation, stuff like that. We're gonna be all right, it's not time to go beat up each other in Walmart,
Anderson says parts of the hub may be closed, but keeping multiple options open is vital for social distancing. Workers say they are doing their best to keep it as clean as possible for both staff members and students.
Most people lie about how big the fish they caught is. 2 guys were accused of taking that to a whole new level. Organizers of the 2-day fishing tournament in Lake Powell say the fish had smaller heads and fatter bodies than what they were used to seeing, as well as red fins, which indicate stress. Robert Dennett and Cameron Wooten from Washington City were charged with bribery or threat to influence a contest, unlawful releases of wildlife, and unlawful captivity of protected wildlife. The Division of Wildlife Resources says the men took the fish from Quail Creek Reservoir to Lake Powell, which is illegal by Utah law.
Coming up in sports, Jonathan May will show you who the new women's head basketball coach is.
And what should Utah drivers be looking out for now that the weather is getting nicer? We'll show you after the break.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Hi, Brian. I'm sorry for calling so late. It's just that he lost his temper again, and I need your help.
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Jonathan May. The coronavirus may have put sports on hold, but there is still news in the athletic world. Utah State women's basketball has a new head coach. Kayla Ard was named head coach Monday and will take over a team that went 8-23 last season and 2-16 in conference play. Ard says she hopes to bring an up-tempo offense to the Spectrum, similar to the men's team. She wants to take one other thing from the men's team too.
They've paved the road, and now it's women's basketball time to jump on board and do the same thing. So ultimately here, we want to cut those nets down.
The women's team returns 12 players, 4 of who started 10 games or more last season. The UHSAA is extending the suspension of spring high school sports, including all practices and team meetings, until at least May 1st. Due to the coronavirus, we are going to have to wait a little longer for the Olympic Games. On Tuesday, the International Olympic Committee agreed to push the Games back to the summer of 2021. The IOC says the Games will not be delayed past next summer. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee's 2 main training centers will remain closed. The last time the Games were put on hold was during World War II. He's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and now he's changing jerseys. Tom Brady is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after spending the last 20 years as a New England Patriot. The 42-year-old quarterback is a 6-time Super Bowl champion and 3-time MVP, and Patriot fans say they won't forget what he's done for them.
Man, I'll miss having him on our team. You know, it's been so great watching him win so many games for us. And, you know, what he's done for the Patriots and for football and for sports in general is amazing. So, you know, I wish him all the best in Tampa.
ESPN's Adam Schefter says Brady's new contract is a 2-year deal with $50 million guaranteed. Tampa Bay Times' Rick Stroud says Brady made just one request after signing with the team, and that request was all the phone numbers of his new Bucs teammates. Are you looking for new ways to get outside and compete during this pandemic? These Aggies may have a solution.
Lock and load. The coronavirus won't stop these sharpshooters from finding new sports to play.
With everything that's been happening, it's been stressful. You don't know what's going to happen even in the next few hours, next few days. It's good to just let go of all those cares and, you know, go airsofting with the boys.
Students say airsoft allows them to clear their minds.
And just to forget about everything, be out here in the open and just have fun, have like a nice airsoft battle. It like makes me forget about everything for a little moment and like helps me relax because I've been really tense this week. So it's been fun just to forget about it a little bit and have some fun.
Before playing airsoft, players say you need some safety glasses, some good camouflage, ammo, and of course, your weapon of choice.
It's fun to be able to hang out with some friends and blow off some steam in the beautiful nature that we have here in Logan Canyon.
I even played a few rounds with them, and it was pretty fun. Now you guys are all caught up in sports. Back to you at the desk, Lisa.
Thanks, Jonathan. You may notice more motorcycles on the road as the temperature increases, or you may want to get out and ride your own. ATV's Brandon Dean has some tips to help keep everyone safe on the road.
Oh my gosh.
Logan residents worked to pull this burning BMW off of a motorcyclist that got trapped underneath in the fall of 2011.
That biker didn't have his helmet on.
While this man survived his injuries, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that motorcycle riders are 28 times more likely to die in a crash than other vehicle occupants. Utah riders are gearing up for the season and say that wearing the proper gear is an important part of keeping you safe every time you ride.
So I was in a small wreck, and
Luckily, I did have my gear on. I had everything here, you see, helmet, gloves.
So basically, I ride all the gear all the time, and an excellent pair of gloves is probably the last thing I would recommend.
Before your first ride of the season, Utah Highway Patrol recommends that all your maintenance is up to date.
To get the bike ready, I make sure that everything is in working order. I make sure the lights are all functioning properly.
Tire pressure, obviously, making sure all the cables and stuff are nice and tight, making sure the brake and throttle aren't sticking.
You can prepare yourself and your bike as much as possible, but you have no control over other drivers.
You gotta assume that that guy that's coming out of his driveway is coming out in front of you.
I had a lot of close calls, mainly with people texting. You're so vulnerable that anything you do wrong or anything another driver does wrong could mean the end of your life.
Obviously, I'm older. I don't take the risk of I'm not doing wheelies down the street. I'm not flying through traffic. I'm pretty much a safe dad motorcyclist.
It's very easy to lose sight of a motorcycle. They move very quickly. They can end up in your blind spot or next to you very quickly.
With all the dangers associated with it, why do people still ride motorcycles?
I mean, I gotta admit, the speed's fun.
And just ride through the mountains around here. If there's a lot of turns, it's a lot more fun.
The twists and turns in the mountains is actually my favorite thing to do. Just getting out, riding with friends.
Whenever you are on the road, bikers want you to know.
Please don't text.
You just gotta be safe. Try to be as safe as you can.
Brandon Dean, ATV News.
Utah Department of Highway Safety says riders in their 20s account for 30% of motorcycle crashes in the state.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can find all the latest editions on our Facebook page. We'll leave you with some shots of spring motorcycle riding.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
For you.
They want to help, but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.